1.9 billion adults worldwide were overweight in 2016, with 650 million obese. 39% of adults were overweight in 2016 and 13% were overweight. 38.3 million children under 5 were overweight or obese in 2019. And we understand that overweight and obesity are defined as abnormal or excessive fat accumulation that presents a risk to health. A body mass index, which is known as BMI, over 25 is considered overweight and over 30 is obese. The issue has grown to epidemic proportions, with over 4 million people dying each year as a result of being overweight or obese in 2017, and that's according to the Global Burden of Disease. And we understand that rates of overweight and obesity continue to grow in adults and children from 1975 to 2016, and the prevalence of overweight or obese children and adolescents aged 5 to 19 years increased more than fourfold, from 4% to 18% globally. Hello and welcome to the Spotlight on Food and Health Communications, your number one go-to media source for credible and timely health information. My name is Victor Wabari. On today's episode of the program, we will be looking at obesity. Our spotlight is going to be focused on the obesity disease. What is obesity? What's the cause of obesity? What are the signs and symptoms of obesity? And how can you prevent yourself from becoming obese? All this and more I will be sharing with you very shortly when I come back from this break. Please do not stray. Welcome back. It's still the program Spotlight on Food and Health Communications, and today we're looking at obesity. The big question is, what is obesity? Well, obesity is one side of the double burden of malnutrition, and today more people are obese than underweight in every region except sub-Saharan Africa and Asia. And once considered a problem only in high-income countries, overweight and obesity are now dramatically on the rise in low and middle income countries, particularly in urban settings. The vast majority of overweight or obese children live in developing countries, where the rates of increase has been more than 30% higher than that of developed countries. Now, what is obesity? Body mass index, which is known as BMI, is a calculation that takes a person's weight and height into account to measure body size. In adults, obesity is defined as having a BMI of 30.0 or more. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention (CDC), obesity is associated with a higher risk for serious diseases such as type 2 diabetes, heart disease, and cancer. Obesity is common. Now the CDC estimates that 42.4% of Americans who are 20 years old and older had obesity in 2017 to 2018. But BMI isn't everything. It has some limitations as a metric, and that's according to the CDC. And what are some factors? We have factors such as age, factors such as sex, ethnicity, and muscle mass can also influence the relationship between BMI and body fat. Also, BMI doesn't, distinguish between excess fat, muscle, or bone mass, nor does it provide any indication of the distribution of fat among individuals. Despite these limitations, BMI continues to be widely used as a way to measure body size. Now, what causes obesity? Eating more calories than you burn in daily activity and exercise on a long-term basis can lead to obesity. Over time, these extra, calories add up and cause weight gain. Just like you can see the man who's on my screen eating of those kind of snacks which have high calories. That's even the basic, cause of obesity. But here's the thing, it's not always just, about calories and calories in and calories out, or, having a sedentary lifestyle. Why those, are indeed cause of obesity, some causes you can't control are also there. Now, let's talk about common specific causes of obesity. They include number one, genetics, which can affect how your body processes food into energy and how fat is being stored. Number two, growing older, which can lead, to less muscle mass and a slower metabolic rate, making it easier to gain, weight. Number three, not sleeping enough. which can also lead to hormonal changes that makes you feel hungrier and, crave certain high calories food. Number 4, pregnancy, as weight gain during pregnancy may be difficult to lose and might eventually lead to obesity. Now, certain health conditions can also lead to weight gain, which may lead to obesity, and this include number 1, polycystic ovary syndromes, known as PCOS, a condition that causes an imbalance of female reproductive hormones. Another causes which has the health implication is also known as Prader-Willi syndrome, a rare condition present at birth that causes excessive hunger. You just can't control that one. Another one is Cushing syndrome, a condition caused by having high cortisol levels, that's the stress hormone in your system. Another syndrome is hypothyroidism, which is also known as underactive thyroid, a condition in which the thyroid gland doesn't produce enough of certain important hormones. And lastly, osteoarthritis, which is also known as OA, and other conditions can cause pain that may lead to reduced activity. Now, who is at the risk for obesity? I need you to understand that a complex mix of factors, can increase a person's risk for obesity. Number 1, genetics. Some people have genes that make it difficult for them to lose weight. And so it could be that, your father was an obese person, or your mother was an obese person, or probably your grandfather, your grandmother, and then you carried the gene. So it could be that you're not really eating that much, but because of the gene you're carrying, you could be obese. Another one is environment and community. Your environment at home, at school, and in your community can all influence how and what you eat and how active you are. Now, you may be at a higher risk for obesity if, number 1, you live in a neighborhood with limited healthy food options, or with many high calories food options like fast food restaurants. If you live in an environment where there is limited healthy food options, or where there are so many high calorie food options, your chances are high. Number 2 factor, if you haven't yet learned to cook healthy meals, if you're a man, if you're a woman, and you haven't learned how to cook healthy meals, your chances of having obesity, because which could come in as a result of eating unhealthy meals, could be also there. Number 3, if you do not think you can afford healthier foods, there are people who tell you that, come on, I can't afford the healthy foods out there. Let me just go for what I can afford. And if you go with that mindset where you just get junks, eating garbages, things that are not healthy, you could be increasing your chances of getting obese. Number 4, if you haven't found a good place to play, to walk, or to exercise in your neighborhood, if you've not done that, your chances might be very, very high. Now, what are all the psychological factors? Now, depression can sometimes lead to weight gain, as some people may turn to food for emotional comfort, because most times when people get emotional, when they become depressed, when it seems like there is nothing for them to do, they turn to food, and then they see food as a compliment for their emotion at that time. They try to complement their emotion by going in for the comfort of food, and then they keep eating, and then we understand that certain antidepressants can also increase the risk of weight gain. So for people who become depressed and then go to taking antidepressant drugs and the likes, you could also increase your risk of weight gain. Now, quitting smoking is always a good thing, but quitting may lead to weight gain too. In some people, we've seen people who smoked at some point and then probably quit smoking for a time being, and the period where they quit, they had to quit smoking, they started gaining loss. It could also, result to a factor that can make you become obese, and this leads to excessive weight gain. For that reason, it's important to focus on diet and exercise while you're quitting. So if you were smoking before and you turned a new leaf to not smoke, then you must focus on diets while you quit smoking that will ensure you stay fit and do not get obese. Now, at least after the initial withdrawal period, medications, such as steroids or birth control pills can also raise the risk for weight gain. So for our mothers, for our wives who gets pregnant, and after pregnancy, they get to take, pills to control birth and all of that, it could actually increase your chances of becoming obese. Now, what are the complications of obesity? Now we understand that obesity can lead to more than simple weight gain. Yes, it can lead to obesity is far beyond just gaining weight. It's far beyond just getting so fat. It's far beyond that. Now, having a high ratio of body fat to muscle puts strains on your bones as well as your internal organs. It also increases inflammation in the body, which is thought to be a risk factor for cancer. Do you understand? And so you see that obesity is also a major risk factor for type 2 diabetes. So you see, it's far beyond just gaining weight. It could lead to cancer. It could lead to also type 2 diabetes. Now we understand that obesity has been linked, to a number of health complications, some of which can be life-threatening if not treated, such as, number 1, type 2 diabetes, number 2, heart disease, number 3, high blood pressure, number 4, certain cancers such as breast cancer, colon cancer, endometrial cancer, and the likes, and so many other forms of cancer. And number 5, stroke. Number 6, gallbladder disease. Number 7, fatty liver disease. Number 8, high cholesterol. Number 9, sleep apnea and other breathing problems. Number 10, arthritis. And number 11, infertility. So you see, it's far beyond just gaining weight. Obesity is far beyond just becoming fat. The health complications attached to obesity, it's something you do not want to go through. It's something you do not want to have. It's something you do not want your loved ones, your father, your mother, your friends, your siblings to go through, because it could lead to so many serious damaging health issues. Now, moving forward, which lifestyle and behavioral changes can help with weight loss? So if you're already obese, if you're already having weight, massive weight, there are lifestyle and behavioral changes that you can adopt to help you losing weight. When I come back from this break, I'll be sharing this with you. Stay with me.
Today, we are looking at obesity.
Welcome back. It's still the program, The Spotlight on Food and Health Communications, your number one go-to media source for credible and timely health information. My name is Victor Waberi. Before I went on that break, I was telling you that there are lifestyle and behavioral changes that can help you losing weight. So if you're overweight already, if you have so much weight, there are lifestyle and behaviors you can adopt that can help you reduce weight drastically. Now, I need you to know that your healthcare team can educate you on food choices and help develop a healthy eating plan that works for you. Now, a structured exercise program and increased daily activity of up to 300 minutes a week will help build up your strength, endurance, and metabolism, just like you can see on my screen. So exercise is a sure banker. If you want to reduce weight as a man, as a woman, as a boy, as a child, do not joke with exercise. It's a sure banker. And go for an exercise that is well structured in a way that at least you have 300 minutes a week. And this will help you build your strength, your endurance, and your metabolism. Now, counseling or support groups, may also identify unhealthy triggers and help you cope with any anxiety, depression, or emotional eating issues. Now, lifestyle and behavioral changes are the preferred weight loss methods for children unless they are extremely weight. So if you have children who are, weight and you need them to lose weight, your number one go-to source, I can tell you any day, anytime, is exercise. That's a sure banker. So now, how can you prevent obesity? So you might be wondering, okay, you just told us, how we can lose weight. A sure banker is exercise, but I'm not overweight. I do not have obesity, and I don't want to have obesity. So how do I prevent obesity? Well, I'll tell you, there's been a dramatic increase, in obesity and in obesity-related diseases in the last couple of decades. This is the reason, why communities, states, and the federal government are putting, an emphasis on healthier food choices and activities to help turn the tide on obesity. So on a personal level, here are some things you can do. You can help prevent weight gain and obesity by making healthier lifestyle choices, such as number 1, aim for moderate exercise like walking, swimming, or biking for 20 to 30 minutes every single day. So if you're not obese yet, you're not really fat yet, and you don't want to become obese, aim for a moderate exercise. It could just be a moderate exercise like walking, like swimming for just like 20 to 30 minutes because you're not yet obese. You remember when I was talking about those who were obese, those who already had so much weight, I talked about 300 minutes of exercise per week, right? But for a person who's not yet obese, you're not very fat, you just want to ensure that you do not become overweight. You could just keep a simple, moderate exercise. 20, 30 minutes, it could just be okay. Now, number 2, eat well by choosing nutritious foods such as fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and lean protein. Just like you can see on my screen, I've got, a whole full-fledged combination. You can see it there. Do not take foods that are not nutritious. Do not take unprepared foods that are not well prepared. Do not take foods that are junks. Stay away from junks. Really, that's one of the fastest way you can get to have weight. You can get to increasing your calories. Junk foods, foods with high calories, stay away from them. Try as much as possible to take fruits, as much as possible to take vegetables. If you must take grains, take whole grains and lean protein. Yes, lean protein. And finally, eat high fats, high calories foods in moderation. What do I mean? If you must eat foods that have, fats, that have, calories in them, you must do it in moderation because that's a sure way to increasing your weight as fast as possible. So if you must take foods like, your butter, you know them, right? If you must take high fats, please do them sparingly. And if you do them moderately. I can assure you that if you take to all of the things I've shared with you today, obesity is going to be far away from you. And this is where we let down the anchors on today's episode of the program. I trust you've learned a thing or two. Yeah, I know you've learned a thing or two. Till I come your way next time on the Spotlight with another interesting package for you. My name is Victor Waberi and I'm saying to you, stay safe, stay healthy. And please, before I go, if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, probably you're new here, please do well to hit the subscribe button. It doesn't bite, just click it and we'll be friends from there. And if you have thoughts, contribution, comments, whatever it is, do well to leave it in the comment section and we will do well to reach out to you. Till I come your way next time, peace.